Hey, what is going on, guys? This is Mitchell. Hey, in today's video, I want to talk to you about trusting the process. Everything in life that happens to you or for you, there was a process that had to play out in order for that event or that outcome or that circumstance to occur. So the constant here is time. Everything that plays out in your life, whether it's good or bad, will play out because a certain amount of time has passed. However, in this time frame, there are certain events that will lead up to whatever it is that, again, happens to you or for you. So I'm going to try to give you several examples in this video off the top of my head so I can kind of help you understand what I mean by this. I will say that when it comes to like trusting the process, you're not going to like this, but it takes time. And because we live in a world where we want everything now, time's a bitch, okay? We don't want to wait for anything. We're all so conditioned to get things, like I said, like right now or the next day, or like when it comes to talking to people, you can just DM them or text them, okay? So with that being said, then let's go about that when it comes to talking to people. Let's talk about relationships first. I'm going to give you the good and then the bad, and then we'll move on to, let's say, like business and then something else from there. So when it comes to relationships, the good is when you want to start a relationship with somebody. So if you are trying to talk to a guy or a girl, typically if it's a healthier relationship, that's not going to play out immediately. You guys might go out on it. You guys might talk first, get your phone number, okay, then plan a date, and then you're going to wait some time for that date to occur, unless you guys do it like the next day or something. And then you guys might really hit it off on that first date. Like you guys might really click with each other, just feel like you guys know each other. And then you're going to go on date 2 and then date 3, and then you guys are going to start hanging out more and more because you guys are going to communicate with each other more and more. And then eventually the woman should bring up, hey, what are we, to start the relationship. So the timeline there starts with you meeting this person and then you either getting their number or setting up a date, going on that first date going really well, and then you go on date 2, 3, 4, you guys start talking more, hanging out more, might hang out at your guys' houses or apartments, and then eventually that's going to lead into a relationship, okay? A woman will typically fall in love with you around the 2-month mark, all right? If you do everything correctly, okay? So that is the process of getting in that relationship. The process, again, is you got to find, first of all, the hard part is finding people that you're compatible with or think you are in that moment to then go out on a date with. Dating's very hard, okay? So the process there is finding somebody, going on a date with them, and then continuing to go on dates. Now, let's say you get broken up with, and you guys got broken up with, and for whatever the reason is, but for some reason you want your ex back. The process here is going to be more than likely well, depending on the person's attachment style, this could be a short time or it could be a very fucking long time. So the process is going to start by you guys having that conversation to break up or them just dumping you out of nowhere and there's really nothing you can do about that. Okay? Now the process here is if you're the one broken up with, you're going to go through heartbreak, and that's going to take you several months to get over because you're losing somebody. So this is hard to play out the process here because everybody comes back at different timelines, but it will, like, the longer time plays out here. So if you have someone that's like an avoidant, right, it's going to take like several fucking months before they even start thinking about you. So in that case, you're going to go through that heartbreak and you're going to start moving on before they try to come back around. That's usually how that plays out. But if you're like a secure person and you're dating someone who has an anxious attachment style, shit, it could be 2 weeks, 3 weeks, man. Okay? People aren't math problems, so I can't really give you the process here, but the process is you guys are going to break up, and then in that period of breaking up, you guys are going to slowly start to, the dumper, the person doing the dumping has already kind of moved on in a way, so they're going to start trying to rebuild their life and look for other people, while the person getting broken up with is in shock, because that's what happens. Now you're trying to get back to normal, and then you'll start healing and then moving on, and at some point in time, you guys are either going to connect again or you're not, okay? So the timeline there for getting broken up with, if you want your ex back, is, well, you never really know if you're going to get them back or not, okay? by begging, pleading, and chasing them, you're never going to get them back. So the best thing to do is to go no contact, stop talking to them. They didn't want you in their life anymore. Save your self-respect, move the fuck on, and if they want to come back, they have to fix it. So if that plays out in the long run, then you might get them back, or you might want to move on. You might not want them back, okay? So that's the relationship. Now let's talk business. When it comes to, so someone like me who owns an advertising agency, so I work with clients to help make them more money. The process for me to getting clients is typically a very, very long process because so many people are in this space that the competition is like very heavy, but that doesn't mean that you can't get clients, you can't start this business, okay? If in my case, if there's a lot of people trying to start advertising agencies, I know then that advertising is a great way to make money because there's a market of people that are still wanting to buy it. So my process then would be by first starting out by prospecting, finding people that I want to pitch and potentially work with. And this can take several hours to get like a list of people. And then I would have to go and film. So I film video pitches. I'm going to go ahead and film these video pitches. Then I have to go ahead and I have to send them to, I have to send these video pitches to them. So I use mainly email because email still works. And so especially in today's, at the point of filming this, Instagram used to be a really good way to get clients. But now you have to like send them a message and then they have to accept it. So you can't just send them shit without them accepting it. And a lot of these people don't manage their own account. So email is a direct way to them. You could also cold call them. I don't do that because cold calling is not as effective as sending videos where I walk people through how to make them more money. And then that's going to lead eventually, that first video more than likely isn't going to get them. I'm going to have to follow up with them for as long as a period as I can. I usually try not to stop if possible until they reach out and they then want to plan a sales call with me. And then if they like that sales call, then they become a client. That's the process for me getting a client, okay? That process can be different for everything. Like, I mean, if you own like a in-store shop, for example, your process of making more sales is you have to find a way to get people into your store, and then you got to hold promotions or something to get people to buy your stuff, and then you got to repeat. So I don't really pay attention to that, so I don't really know the process to that. But the process of getting clients for me, as far as like business goes, is, I mean, dude, it takes several months up to it. I've been following up with people for over a year right now, so that is a very long process. So financially, this can take a little bit of time. Now, the more results you start getting when you start working with clients, things will typically start to snowball from there. Because then you can prove like, hey, I've made this much more money, and that'll just entice people to start coming to you at a faster rate than just by sending them value-driven follow-ups, like stuff that they can actually use, okay? Let's talk about the gym, okay? Now, most people like, hey, if you want to work out, you can't expect to get, like if you're not fit, so like if you're fat, for example, you can't expect to lose the weight that you want anytime soon. It's more than likely going to take you potentially several months to do that because you're going to have to work out every single day or at least 5 days a week. You're going to have to start doing some cardio. Your diet's got to be on point. It's not so much about working out, but more so on the diet if you're trying to lose weight, because you want to make sure you don't go over a certain amount of calories, because calories are energy, and the more calories you have, the more weight you're going to put on. The less calories you consume, then you're going to consume more energy above that calorie threshold. I'm not a personal trainer. If you want to lose weight, you want to consume less calories, okay? Now, so the process of getting fit then, so coming from someone like me, I have been working out since I graduated high school back in 2013, and we're in 2024 right now. So I've been working out for 11 years. At this point in my life, I have pretty much, I'm in a wheelchair right now, so I want to say I peaked at my performance at 22 when I weighed 185 pounds. My numbers back then for a deadlift was 465, my squat was 365, and my bench press, ironically, was 265. So it's funny how I had like 100-pound increments, and I was 5'9", and I was all natural back then. Now I'm on a ton of steroids. So if I had what I'm on now back then, I guarantee you I would have at least a 500-pound deadlift easily, dude. I was a big kid. But when it comes to working out, I didn't just you don't just get fucking huge in the first year of working out. Those are going to be like beginner newbie gains. You're going to see progress fast. That's because your body's putting on muscle that you can already put on at a faster rate. Once you hit a certain period of working out, then you slowly start gaining maybe like 1 or 2 pounds every couple of months of like muscle, okay? So like when you go on like a bulking diet where you're just eating as much shit as you possibly can to try and gain weight, a lot of that is going to be water weight, and then the more you weigh, it does play into how much you can lift, because you're consuming, you just have more energy to lift and whatnot, okay? There is, like I said, I'm not a personal trainer, but I do know that typically when you bulk, you're going to start lifting more, feeling better because you're nourished. But you're not going to look the best as if you were to be a bodybuilder cutting down for a show. That's when you're typically going to look better, but you're going to feel like shit because of the diet that you're on, okay? So that's going to be the process for the gym then, is trusting the process. Is you know that if you go work out 5 days a week and you follow that diet that you either made up yourself or you had someone help you with, and you stick to that over a certain period of time, your actions during the time period is going to result in you getting the body that you want. So that is happening to you, or for you, I should say. Okay, when you get broken up with, that's happening to you. If you get a girlfriend, or you get a client, or you start working out and you start feeling better, that's happening for you because you were putting yourself out there in the world and you're going out and you are chasing what you want. That is a key point. Anything that you want in life, the process can't start unless you go out of your way to chase whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. Now, when it comes to chasing women, for example, don't do that. You will push them away. But if you want to get a girlfriend, you're going to have to put yourself out there and start talking to women that you don't know. If you want to start a business, you are going to have to put yourself out there and trying to sell the product or the service or the information product that you're trying to sell. If you want to go to the gym and get buff and get big or become a bodybuilder, you have to go to the gym and work out as much and as often as you can, and obviously without hurting yourself. And then there are, like I said, extracurriculars that can help you get there much faster, but steroids kind of just shorten the process, but the process is still there. Because then when you're on steroids, now you got to worry about like health problems, and luckily for me, I've always been very healthy, so I haven't had to worry about that. But because I am on Medicare, I can also get my blood work done regularly when I need to. So I haven't had that issue yet, okay? So right there, then that's the process. Is again, like I said, this takes time to actually get to where you want to be, and time's a bitch, but everything you do in life, again, there's a process, involved on getting there, and unfortunately, the amount of time that it can take getting there is what is going to be the hardest thing about getting anything you want in life, because of the uncertainty of how much time it's actually going to take to get there, okay? So if you're like, another example, man, if you're like talking to somebody new, for example, their method of communicating, their rates or their speed of wanting to communicate could be much slower or faster than yours. So in my case, like I've had women I've tried to talk to that reply a lot slower than I'm used to. And so that process of trying to talk to them is going to span out longer than I would like it to, but that's not necessarily a bad thing, because that's going to teach you what's called infinite patience, okay? So this is the cool thing about trusting the process, is it's actually teaching you a little bit about like self-control, whether you think it is or not. Because when you trust the process and you just let things play out, if you're texting somebody and you text them one time, you wait for them to reply back. If you start going to the gym, you got to go every single day, and then over time, you're going to see the results. But in that case, then you going to the gym every single day is you're building the self-control and the discipline to go to the gym. When it comes to waiting on somebody to text you back, you're building the self-control to allow them to come to you at your own pace, so that way you don't come off as like needy or clingy. And that's also like when the anxiety flares up for me not hearing from somebody, that's also building emotional resilience, okay? And then in the case of like business, that one's just, in the case of getting clients, that one's just kind of annoying. That takes more discipline than everything. I've said it time and time again, what makes you the most money is going to be the most boring work in the world. You have to show up every single day to do the thing that you need to do to make money, and it's not going to be fun at some point in time. It's going to suck. It's going to be boring. You're not going to want to do it, but you're going to have to do it because you know that discipline, that self-control to starting a business is the more you do it, the luckier you're going to get. And then in this case, then that process of getting a client is going to play out and you're going to get that client. It has happened to me every single time. Okay, if you want to get clients, you have to constantly put yourself out there, to contact them, stay in front of them, and at some point in time, somebody is going to want to talk to you. And then if you have really good sales skills, then you might make that sale and get a new client. So that's going to be the video, guys. Hopefully this makes a lot of sense because like I said, trusting the process, man, it sucks because you got to wait and things have to play out in order for things to happen to you. But that's life, and there's really nothing you can do about it. Life's not fair. And in this case, then, you're just, like I said, you're building self-control, and you're ultimately going to come out as a better person when you start trusting this process. And you know that no matter what happens, that whether the outcome's good or bad, like meaning it's the outcome you wanted or you didn't want, regardless, you're going to be okay more than likely at the end of the day. So go ahead, like, comment, subscribe if you want to see more videos from me in the future. And if you have anything you want to leave below in the comments, whether that's maybe a process that I didn't cover that you went through so other people can see, leave it down below. I'd love to hear from you. With that being said, guys, I'll talk to you soon.